Welcome students, we are going to learn the continuation of lesson 5 molecular genetics, and the topics we are going to learn are translation, regulation of gene expression, human genome project and DNA fingerprinting. These 4 topics are very important topics, and these 4 are 5 mark questions. Before we discuss about translation, we should know DNA replication and transcription. So I think you have learned about DNA replication and transcription. So DNA replication is each DNA molecule gives rise to 2 DNA strands. You would have learned that the DNA unwinds, then 2 new DNA strands are formed. Transcription is the process of copying the genetic information from one strand of DNA into RNA. So this is a double stranded DNA. This DNA unwinds in a particular place where the mRNA copies the genetic information which is present in dRNA into mRNA. So this is the genetic information. Genetic information will be present in 4 letters, that is A, C, G and T. These 4 will be repeated again and again. So that is the genetic information that will be copied in mRNA. So this process is transcription. And the last one is translation. This transcription takes place inside the nucleus, whereas translation takes place in the cytoplasm. The process of polymerization of amino acids to form polypeptide chain. Though this translation is a very big process, when we have to explain it in a sentence, we can say it is a polymerization of amino acids to form polypeptide chain. Polymerization is many monomers combined together to form polymers, that is single amino acids all joined together to form a peptide bonds, that is with the peptide bonds they get united, and this process is called polymerization, where it gets converted into protein. So they form the polypeptide chain. This process is called translation. So up to transcription is inside the nucleus. Translation is outside the nucleus, that is in the cytoplasm. Next topic is mechanism of translation. So before we see about the mechanism of translation, we should know the structure of an important cell organelle, that is ribosome. This ribosome is the cellular factory for protein synthesis. So protein synthesis takes place only with the help of this ribosome. So they are called as cellular factory for protein synthesis. It consists of rRNAs and 80 different proteins. So this ribosome, this is the structure of ribosome. It consists of rRNAs, that is ribosomal RNA, and 80 different types of proteins. In inactivate state, that is when there is no translation process, this exists as large subunit and small subunit. So this is the larger subunit and this is the smaller subunit. These 2 subunits will remain separated from each other, but only during the process of translation they come closer or they get combined like this. Prokaryotic ribosome is of 70S type, whereas the larger subunit is of 50S and smaller subunit is of 30S. So together we call it a 70S type of ribosome in prokaryotes. Eukaryotic ribosome is of 80S type, where the larger subunit is of 60S and smaller subunit is of 40S. And S represents sedimentation efficient or Swedberg unit. What does that sedimentation efficient means? When the ribosome is centrifuged, the time taken for the sedimentation is represented as S. So in the case of prokaryotes, larger subunit 50S and smaller subunit 30S. So when it is together, we call it as 70S. So the time taken for the sedimentation, that is what is called a sedimentation efficient. It is represented as Swedberg unit. We will see the difference between the bacterial ribosome and eukaryotic ribosome. So here in bacterial ribosome, it is of 30S subunit and 50S subunit. Here it is 40S subunit and 60S subunit. Bacterial ribosome 30S subunit consists of 16S rRNA and eukaryotic ribosome consists of 18S rRNA. That is the major difference. Then in 50S subunit, here in bacterial ribosome, if you see, it consists of 5S rRNA and 23S rRNA. Whereas in 60S subunit of eukaryotic ribosome, there is 5S rRNA and 28S rRNA. In your book it is given as 23, but in many places when I verified it is given as 28S rRNA. And proteins, if you see, the bacterial ribosome, it consists of 21 proteins in small subunit and 34 proteins in large subunit. Here it is 33 in small subunit and 31 in large subunit. So these are all the major difference between the bacterial ribosome and the eukaryotic ribosome. Then when you see about the structure of ribosome, it consists of three important places or three important regions. One is called as amino acid binding site or acceptor site, and second one is peptidyl binding site, and third one is exit site. These three places play an important role during the translation process. So, I will tell you what are the role of these three regions when I explain you about the translation. So, we have learned about the bacterial ribosome, eukaryotic ribosome differences also. Next, we will see about the reading frame. A reading frame is a way of dividing the sequence of nucleotides in a nucleic acid, it may be DNA or RNA molecule, into a set of consecutive non-overlapping triplets. This is a diagram of reading frame. You can see here, this is a sequence of RNA because it has uracil instead of thymine. So, if it is thymine, it is DNA and it is replaced by uracil, so this is RNA. So, this is a sequence of nucleotides in a nucleic acid. So, this bases, it will be divided into 3, that is A, G, U, C, U, U, like this. This is called triplets. They are consecutive, see, you can see it in series, and they are non-overlapping triplets, where these triplets equate to amino acids. So, these 3 together, they code for a particular amino acid. For example, you can see here A, G, U for serine, C, U, U for leucine. So, this are together called as codons. So, where these triplets equate to amino acids or stop signals during translation, they are called codons. And if the triplet is ending with UAA, UAG or UGA, they are called as termination codons. So, when the termination codon is found, the translation process comes to an end. So, that is about the reading frame. Reading frame or triplets or otherwise called as codons, which help in finding out the amino acids, that is, these are called codons, and the anticodons which are present in tRNA carry the particular amino acid according to this codons. So, when you see about the translation process in detail, you will be able to understand this clearly. Next one is open reading frame, ORF. Any sequence of DNA or RNA beginning with a start codon and can be translated into a protein. So, if the sequence of DNA is ready to be translated with the start codon is AUG, in which codes for the amino acid methionine, then it is called as open reading frame, and these particular that is the sequence can be translated into a protein. They are ready with the start codon and the stop codons. So, this particular sequence of RNA is called as open reading frame. Reading frame, open reading frame, these are all 2-mark questions. So, you can see here DNA, and DNA has 2 strands, one is sense strand, the other one is called as anti-sense strand, because they are non-coding strand, this is coding strand. This coding strand only is converted into mRNA. You can see here ATG, here AUG. The same thing, instead of T, here it is U because it is mRNA. So, this is just copied here in the mRNA, and here this is AUG, which is coding for methionine, that is the first amino acid, and the last one you can say UAA. So, when it comes in contact with UAA or UAG or UGA, the process of translation stops. We have learned reading frame and open reading frame. So, this is translational unit. So, what is translational unit? So, it is a sequence of RNA in the mRNA. It has start codon in one side, that is AUG, which codes for methionine, and the other side it has stop codon, which can be UAA, UAG or UGA. Then the codons after AUG, that is from AUG, the codons whichever are present continuously in consequent series, they all code for polypeptides. But in addition to this sequence, there are some additional sequence which are not translated. They are called as untranslated region or UTRs. Where they are found is, it is found on the 5' side and it is called as leader sequence, or it is found on the 3' side, then it is called as trailer sequence. They are called as 5' UTR or 3' UTR, leader sequence or trailer sequence. This which is found in the 5' side will be found before the start codon, and which is found in the 3' side will be found after the termination codon or the stop codon. So this is about the UTR or translational unit. In eukaryotes, if you see, initiated tRNA with methionine binds with AUG. The major difference between the translation in eukaryotes and prokaryotes is the presence of N-formal methionine and methionine. You can see here this is tRNA. In this region you can see this is the initiated tRNA. In this region you can see formal methionine is present. This is in the case of prokaryotes. But in eukaryotes this place will be occupied by methionine. So methionine is the first amino acid which binds with the first codon, start codon AUG. Now this one you can see this is a sequence of mRNA in a prokaryote. So AUG is a start codon. Before the start codon there are some sequences of there is a sequence in the mRNA which is called as Shine-Dalgarno sequence. This Shine-Dalgarno sequence acts as a initiation factor here. Usually in eukaryotes AUG initiates the translation process, but here in prokaryotes it starts with Shine-Dalgarno sequence. This 30S subunit, that is in ribosome, the 30S subunit, it consists of 16S rRNA as I told you before. That and this Shine-Dalgarno sequence, they base pair. After that the initiation of translation takes place in the prokaryotes. In eukaryotes it is not with Shine-Dalgarno sequence. Directly the tRNA binds with the start codon and the translation begins. But here in eukaryotes Shine-Dalgarno sequence is what initiates the translation process after the binding of 16S RNA, that is base pair of 16S rRNA with the Shine-Dalgarno sequence. This Shine-Dalgarno sequence is the ribosome binding site. So that is why the 16S rRNA binds or pairs with this sequence. So this is the place where the 30S subunit binds and the initiation of the translation begins. So here, as I told you, UTR, it's an untranslated region. It will not code for any amino acids or proteins. What is the function of this untranslated region is, it helps in the regulation of the translation process. But they don't code for any proteins, but their main function is to regulate the process of translation.